And welcome. David Levin here, Raising Your Game Today. This is Tuesday, so we're talking sports and sports parenting. And this week we're talking about mental performance training, one of my favorite subjects. And specifically, does mental game training, I'll just start over from the top. Okay, I'm going to do this again. I should go back. And welcome. David Levin here, Raising Your Game Today. This is Tuesday, so we're talking sports and sports parenting. And this week, we're talking about mental performance training, one of my favorite subjects. And specifically, does mental game training need to be sport specific? I got this question this week from a parent who got it from another mental performance coach. Basically, he asked me, does mental skills training work across all sports? I spoke to a coach who said that it needs to be specific to each individual sport. What do you think? And that really lit me up. I hadn't thought about it much exactly in those terms, but as soon as I heard the question, I realized it really reinforces why I feel so strongly that a mechanics-based approach is a better way to go with mental game training. So this guy was a swim coach. I don't know exactly what he did with his students, but typical mental game training is a lot of visualization and affirmations. You're picturing yourself performing in an ideal way, and you are telling yourself things that boost your confidence. And especially with the visualization part, you can see how that would need to be sport specific, right? If I'm a swimmer, I need to be picturing elements of swimming, my start, my turn, my motion. I've been watching this Formula One series on Netflix, and there was a scene with one of the drivers in a simulator, but it wasn't the kind of simulator with the display and the full experience. It was just a frame, seat, steering wheel, foot and hand controls. It didn't do anything. He would just sit in it, close his eyes, and go through what he expected on the track, talking himself through the course, the turns, straights, braking, accelerating, pure visualization. And I assume he wouldn't be doing that if it wasn't genuinely helpful. But that is a different aspect of the mental game, and I don't believe the most important aspect of it by a long shot. The real problems athletes have with their mental game, and I see this directly with the kids I work with, and I hear the same stories with people at the highest levels. The real problems have to do with confidence. Their negative thoughts start hurting their game in the moment. With focus, they get distracted by all the things around them and in their lives, and with resilience. Something goes wrong, they get upset, they can't shake it off and get back in the game. Those are the real mental game problems. And what's really happening in all those situations is that they're getting stuck in their head. Their thoughts, emotions, impulses come up and pull them off into their head, and they don't know how to get back out. And now we see the problems with visualization and affirmations and virtually all of the typical mental performance training. The problem for the athletes is that they're getting stuck in their head, but to use an affirmation or visualization means you also have to be in your head. The typical tools can be helpful. They do add value, but they do not help with the biggest mental game problem. And in fact, they can make it worse. The other problem with visualization and affirmations is that they tend to be situation specific. You come up with something to picture or say to yourself for one scenario that's giving you trouble, but when something else happens, you have to come up with a whole nother visualization and affirmation for that. Also, you tend to end up more dependent on the coach or whoever helps you work through these things because, again, you have to talk through and work through every scenario. But when you take a mechanics-based approach and you go after the mechanism of confidence, for example, the solution is universal to all situations and all sports. I just had a conversation with a young woman who plays beach volleyball. She's about 2 weeks into the program. Her parents came on the call to tell me that even from the sidelines, they could totally see the difference in her posture and body language. And she said she'd never had the kind of confidence and continued flow experience and ability to play aggressively like she wanted. It was just night and day for her. And here's the point, there's not one word in our program about volleyball or any specific sport or situation. That's the difference with a mechanics-based approach. So that's what I wanted to talk about this week. Should mental performance training be sport-specific And in my experience, the answer is a big no. You can certainly do some things at a sport-specific level, but if you want to fix the biggest problems and make the biggest difference in the shortest time, you need to train the mechanics of the mental game, and those are universal. All right, that's it for this week. I hope that makes sense. If you have teenagers in sports and you want to help them learn how to master the mechanics of their mental game, check out our Mental Game Starter Kit. The Starter Kit is a great set of resources to help you start boosting their mental game. Just go to raiseyourinnergame.com, scroll to the bottom, you can learn about it and register there. It's all free, of course. We also offer private and group coaching you can learn about at the site. If you like what you heard on today's show, please tell your friends and rate and review us on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts. Every review helps more people find the show and get the mental game boost they need. If you'd like to support the show so we can keep things ad-free, please click the Buy Me a Coffee link below, and thank you for that. Also, if you're listening to the audio podcast and you like video, we post all our episodes on YouTube as well. There's a link to that in the show notes. Finally, we'll close with Steve Prefontaine, legendary long-distance runner, and his quote from the end of the Raise Your Inner Game book. To give anything less than your best is to sacrifice your gift. To sacrifice your gift. That's what we're doing. We're going to be our best and help our kids be their best, both on and off the field. So keep up the good work, and we'll see you next time.